So we are here with Howl today for another interview in our Get to Know the Wrestlers series. So Howl, welcome. How did you get started wrestling?
Growing up in Illinois, it was kind of a common thing to know someone who's on the wrestling team or be wanting to be on the wrestling team, and there was a lot of amateur wrestling going on, and it was just kind of a thing that friends would do, and they'd get together and just have cornfield wrestling matches and weird stuff like that, out in the woods and stuff like that. And it's always been something that I've been really interested in, and over the past few years I've started to do more of my body training, and then I was okay, well, what can I do that I really want to do that also trains my body in a fun way, and that was the answer was wrestling, and it just sort of came together and coalesced, and here I am.
Awesome. So let's see, I remember we actually first heard from a friend that we should call you up to do a tickle video. Mm-hmm. So is this anything like what you were expecting when you got a tip hey, there's a tickle video you
Mm-mm.
could do?
No, this is actually a million times better than what I was expecting, for sure. Totally. Yeah, I was expecting it to be a really kind of back room, kind of weird, awkward scenario, but this is has opened up a whole new world of cool, physical art, physical action, body work kind of thing. So yeah, it's way better than my expectations were.
But you eventually got to try the tickling anyway.
Tickling,
how would you compare?
Well, I actually really enjoyed the tickling a lot, because I am mildly ticklish, and I feel it's really cathartic in an interesting way, and also just to kind of let go, or kind of resist in a way that is affirmative and playful and feels good, and then to sort of I feel the more theatrical stuff is really fun, and then the fact that you can kind of incorporate wrestling and grappling into it is really neat, and I like playing with those things together.
Cool. So we've almost asked this question. We're going that direction. So let's just ask, what has been your favorite match, video, or type of thing that you've done so far?
Oh my goodness. Well, I really like bondage wrestling, and I think that my favorite one that I've done so far was when Sato and I took you on.
Oh, yeah.
And won, right? Or we were really close. Or did we win?
Wait, this is your favorite match. Surely you recall this moment.
I remember it being a really challenging, really fun, because it was also one of my first bondage wrestling matches, and I thought merging those two worlds was really genius, and it was just a really fun experience. And I've done a duo against you and lost, so I was wondering if we had also lost that one, but maybe we won. And
you did win.
Okay.
Yeah, you did win that one.
Cool.
I remember well.
Yeah. For me, it was a minor victory. For you, it was a tremendous loss.
Well, all right, moving on from that topic then. What's something that you haven't gotten to try yet that you would still like to?
Well, I feel I've covered so much, more than I ever thought I would. I don't really know. I feel maybe a little bit more competitive matches, because I've done a lot of semi-competitive, and but also I've needed more training. So now that I have a little bit more training, I feel I could actually be competent in doing something more like that. So maybe something more like that, a little bit more competitive, a little more raw, and kind of pushing the limits a little bit.
Okay. And is there anybody that you have in mind, somebody that you haven't fought yet that you'd like to?
Well, okay, so
or anyone that
I really want to rematch with Orlando, because I felt that was such good energy, and it was it's the second of my favorites on the list, and Orlando won, and I feel now I could actually be more of a challenge, and I would love to see how we both changed over this past year, because it's been about a year, maybe a little more. So a rematch with Orlando is high on my list of dream matches, and then I'm really looking forward to bondage with Tay. I think that's going to be really fun, and I feel really confident that I might win. Yeah, I think, and then also, who has the big hair?
Candy?
Candy? Like, sort of auburn hair, and it's like puffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Candy.
I think I would like to do an actual competitive match, but I don't know if they do competitive matches, so maybe that won't happen. But there was a lot of good energy between the two of us, so I think it'd be cool to bring it to the mat.
Neat. So, well, you mentioned the bondage wrestling with Tay, and that is our very next event of the day. So we will get one of those items on the list crossed off. All right.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for your interview.
Yeah, no problem.